Okay, everybody, I'd love to get started on this presentation to try to teach you the 5 shifts to healing your digestive system naturally. And the most important bonus, which really isn't even a bonus, is how healing your digestive system can eradicate chronic illnesses. And I mean any kind of chronic illness from migraines and inflammation, chronic pain, even cancer, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. So for those of you who have any nagging symptoms that don't seem to go away, please stay tuned and let's see if this is for you. So before we get going, I want to say who this presentation is for so that you know you're in the right place. And if this isn't you, then just feel free. Don't waste the next 45 minutes. You can just pop right off. But anyone who suffers from any type of bowel disease, such as IBS or constipation, chronic pain and inflammation, frequent headaches and migraines, I mean more than 5 a month, maybe 10 a month or more. If you feel sick after eating, if you have constant painful gas after eating that can almost feel like you're having a heart attack, a slow metabolism, you know who you are, you're constantly in the gym, you feel like you barely eat any calories, but you're always fighting to lose a pound or just not gain a pound. You feel like if you lived normally, didn't diet, and just lived your life without thinking about it, you would literally gain 5 pounds in a week. If you have less than 1 bowel movement per day, this is for you. And not to get gross, people, but I am a colon therapist. If your stools are long and skinny or rocky and small, you are definitely in the right place. Again, if you suffer from hemorrhoids that make you dread going to the bathroom, if even hemorrhoids that bleed, internal ones, maybe your doctor has even suggested getting surgery to cauterize these hemorrhoids, then this is for you. If you have chronic pain all over your body or in specific places like your joints, then this is definitely for you because that shows that your body is not draining lactic acid, your kidneys aren't functioning well enough to clear your blood, and that all stems to the digestive system. Any autoimmune disorders that the doctors can't really diagnose, but they might just put them into the general autoimmune disorder category. If you have gluten intolerance, gluten intolerance is this new fad that everybody thinks gluten is evil. The truth is, gluten is not evil, it's just glue, and when you're putting glue into a body that's already constipated, boom, people think they have gluten intolerance. Then you are in the right place. So very quickly, I want to go over what you'll learn in the next 45 minutes. That way you can see if this is going to be beneficial to you and if you're even interested. But we're going to go over the 5 little-known secrets that will help you heal your digestive system naturally. The real cause of your gastrointestinal distress, what you should never eat if you are constipated, that you were misled to believe was good for you. This one always seems to surprise people. I also want to teach you what you must do at once to heal your body naturally without the nasty side effects of medications or taking tons of supplements. And how to go from wishing for health to enjoying a symptom-free mind and body within as little as a few weeks. Yes, I know, it is possible. Okay, and this is my promise to you. I promise to show you step by step how to heal your digestive system naturally, by taking your power back and finally getting control over your health. This will then allow you to allow your body to heal itself of the rest of your issues that have developed due to your digestive disorders. This is a main point. I want you to understand that your digestive disorders have been what has led you down the road of ill health and disease. So yes, your heart disease is related to your digestive disorder. Yes, your migraines are associated with your digestive disorders, even autoimmune disease, even infertility, thyroid issues, all of it. And we're going to go over how that happens. The rules before we begin, obviously, this is not a consultation. That would be us working one-on-one. And it's not a substitute for personal advice from a medical professional. And it's not a guarantee. But what I can guarantee is if you do the work and you change your lifestyle, you will reap the benefits of good health. And I want to see if any of these sound like you, because if they do, then you, again, know you're in the right place. Are you literally afraid to eat food because you know you will be in debilitating pain afterwards? Do you suffer from chronic constipation, bloating, gas, and intestinal pain? And most of all, do you feel like everyone else around you can eat so much more than you and stay thin, but you are heavier than they are and you eat way less and get full very easily? You know who you are. This used to be me. I would feel like all I could do would be eat 2 bites of food and feel like I was going to throw up or have incredible pain and pressure in my abdomen. And I would just watch all of my friends and family eat burgers and pizza and salads and feel completely normal. And it just would drive me absolutely crazy. Do you force yourself to work out endlessly, eat almost a starvation diet, but never get a flat stomach or lose any weight? Well, hello, it's probably because you have 10 to 40 pounds of excess waste in your intestine. Are you embarrassed by chronic skin disorders? Rosacea, acne, psoriasis, all of these stem from a dirty intestine because the skin is the reflection of what's going on in the inside of the body. So when your colon is clogged, no waste is getting through. The waste has to get out somewhere. So it comes out of what I call the back door, which is the skin, because the skin is your secondary most important eliminatory organ, whereas your alimentary canal is the first. Do you feel like you are less effective as a person because you lose 10 or more days a month due to headaches? You'd be surprised. Headaches are actually caused by an impacted cecum, which is a part of the intestine that's energetically connected to the head. Do you suffer from thyroid disorders, diabetes, or heart disease, as I mentioned before? Then you're definitely in the right spot. And does eating often make you feel sick? Do you feel better when you don't eat? Sometimes even eating could make you anxious, and you never know what food choices to pick. That's also a sign. Have you been diagnosed with IBS by your doctor? Did he put you on bowel-regulating drugs such as Linzess? Are you in so much pain that you have to take drastic measures to manage your symptoms just so that you can function? I mean taking Advil every day, drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, or even eating sugar constantly to get through your day. Or do you have unexplained muscle pain and prolonged soreness after exercise? That's a sign that your metabolism is slowing down due to digestive disorders. Okay, so before we begin, I want to quickly introduce myself and then get right into how we can help you. I am a certified colon hydrotherapist and nutritionist. I've helped hundreds of clients in my brick and mortar practices in New York and New Jersey. I've been named the Detox Guru by the New York Times at only 23 years old. And I'm a certified health supportive chef that was educated by the National Gourmet Institute. This all got started because I healed myself of chronic digestive issues, autoimmune disease, migraines, reproductive disorders, and eating disorder and anxiety. So I want to just tell you a little bit about my own health journey. When I was in college, I had migraine headaches that resembled seizures up to 4 times per week. So I was put on epilepsy medication and pain medication to try to manage my symptoms. But no matter what, I would still get these unexplained headaches, which resembled very bad seizures, but they weren't because I was still conscious. And what they found was unexplainable spots in the gray matter of my brain, which was what made them, the doctors say that I had autoimmune disease, even though they couldn't even identify what autoimmune disease it was. I had chronic constipation and IBS from a young age. I think I went to the bathroom maybe once every week since I was a kid, since I could remember, which also caused very painful and irregular periods. I was diagnosed with PMDD, which is basically like PMS on steroids. I would have periods that lasted up to 14 days. I would get them every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, and I would literally PMS for 14 days before my cycle. And the only time I felt moderately like a normal functioning person would be 4 days after my period was over, and then it was back on the same cycle. And this made me incredibly depressed. Only having, maybe 1/5 of my year feeling pain-free was horrible. And obviously all of these symptoms made me fall into a depression. And from that depression, I developed a severe eating disorder because I became so anxious around food, because I noticed it made me sick, that I became anorexic. And when starving myself didn't work, I would binge, and then I dabbled in bulimia. So really, I was all over the map. And because I was not treating my body well by giving it the right nutrition, even if I gave myself the right nutrition, I couldn't metabolize anything. So I was essentially starving from the inside out. and I was toxic and just felt terrible. I mean, I remember people in my college thought that I was a drug addict because I walked around looking like I had a hangover all the time. Friends would find me passed out in the bathroom, at 10 o'clock at night from pain. It was just bad. Little did people know I was actually sick. They probably just thought I was on drugs. Okay, and now I want to go on a little bit about how I healed. I started questioning what I thought I knew about conventional medical wisdom. I started re-educating myself about practical nutrition and healthcare for self-healing. I found nutritionists and colon hydrotherapists to help me. I followed their advice even when I didn't want to because I was miserable, and I was consistent over a few years. That consistency was key to helping me heal. I'm pretty positive I would be in a very bad place right now if I didn't have the wonderful help from the mentors that made it possible. I never gave up, even when I wanted to, because I knew that I looked at it this way. My life was so miserable that I had nowhere to go but up, so I might as well try something different. Then finally, I stopped listening to doctors, friends, and family who said that I was crazy, that it was all in my head, and that I just needed to take medication. So discovering the shifts are what helped me to regain my health, and that's what I want to teach you too. Some of these include that doctors specialize in sick care, not health care. They rely on the use of drugs. Naturopaths utilize many supplements that are incredibly expensive and most of the times, unfortunately, don't work, only because they don't address the root of the problem, which is toxic accumulation in a weak digestive system. Lasting health will never be found in a pill, natural or not. It comes from hard work. Most programs and diets don't work because they're hypey and glitchy. When you get away from all of these falsehoods, you will finally begin to self-heal instead of just masking the symptoms with these drugs and supplements, which is exactly what the doctors do. I have created a system that works for almost anyone. Some people see results within a matter of weeks. Others, it can take up to a year. I will show you some case studies from my practice where people have radically transformed their health. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg of my practice. I've had people who've healed from all sorts of things and have just greatly improved their minds and bodies. Shift 1. This one might make you feel a little uncomfortable. It even makes me uncomfortable to say it out loud, but it's the truth. Don't trust your doctor. Gastrointestinal doctors don't know how to cure bowel disease because they don't understand diet. They can only offer drugs, surgery, and diagnosis. And this is not their fault. They've gone to medical school to learn how the body works. They look at the body as a machine and how the parts work together. When the parts stop working, all they can do is look at how to patch the hole and fix the part and make sure it works again. They don't get at the root of the problem as to why the problem happened, and a lot of the time they code it over with autoimmune disease or just genetics and bad luck. And this is not their fault. The truth is it's very expensive to be a doctor, and they simply don't have the time or the money to address these issues, and that's why people really need to invest in good education and good nutritional practices in order to get better. Most drugs and certain supplements have many associated symptoms that are often worse than what we take the medication for in the first place. I mean, we've all been there. You feel sick, you take a drug. Symptoms are even worse than the symptoms you had in the first place from the drug. I mean, a lot of the time this would be like birth control. People who have chronic migraines or bad periods will go on a birth control, but then the associated symptoms are so bad they get off of it. This is more dangerous because we live under the false sense of security of having health. If you don't resolve the cause, you will continue to get sicker. While the medicine, they mask the symptoms, it will age you faster and you'll never get at the root of the problem. And that's on the bright side if the medication even works and doesn't have worse symptoms. And most doctors are good-hearted and truly want to help. That's why they became doctors. But after 8 years of medical school or residency and undergraduate school, they are under pressure to see as many patients as possible and to prescribe medications since they get paid for writing those prescriptions by the drug companies. Unfortunately, medicine isn't practiced by saints. It's a for-profit business, and the best way to make money is to sell drugs. My best friend is a chemical engineer, and she tells me this all the time. This way, the reason they do this is because then they can see more patients, bill higher amounts without taking the time necessary to educate patients. Doctors might often see 200 patients a week. They don't have the time to educate. They also have very little education on nutrition and are more educated in emergency care. So if you get hit by a bus, you want a doctor. If you have autoimmune disease, you want a naturopath. End of story. So the truth is that constipation is the cause of most modern disease. If you go to the bathroom less times per day than you eat, you are constipated. This is very important. Most people don't even know they're constipated. So I want to just go with one of my favorite quotes here. There is one disease, constipation. Knowing the ways of keeping the bowel healthy is the best way I know to keep away the gripe of disease and sickness. And this is said by Bernard Jensen. Bernard Jensen is a doctor in the United States who transformed the way we look at care. He is the father of iridology, the study of the iris to diagnose diseases in the body, and he's healed over 300,000 patients by addressing their bowel health first and foremost. Here's a little bit about him. Dr. Bernard Jensen was a pioneer of natural health care and treated over 300,000 patients. He noted bowel health was at the root of most of his patients' problems. And here's just a little quote by him. In the 70 years I spent helping people to overcome illness, disability, and disease, it became crystal clear that poor bowel management lay at the root of most of the people's health problems. Here's just a little case study of one of my beautiful clients who went into my program. Her name is Linda, and here's a little testimonial for her, and if you're interested, you can read it. She was a gorgeous woman, very high-powered executive in marketing. She's also a yoga instructor and an amazing Reiki healer, and she is just a ball of light. The first time she came into my office, I instantly just fell in love with her because she was so sweet and just such a great energy. She came to my office for years for colonics, and I would always try to educate her, what to eat, how to shift, because she was always constipated. And someone as conscious and aware as her shouldn't have been dealing with an extra 10 pounds or skin disorders. I mean, you can see here from this picture after my program, her skin is crystal clear. She is thin, light, unbelievable. You could even look her up. She's just wonderful. And if any of you are in the New York area, I definitely suggest you work with her with Reiki and yoga because she's amazing. She has actually been a really big push for me to tell me to bring my program out to the public because she says it completely changed her life. She finally understands exactly how to be healthy. She has muddled through all of the education that she's had because she's incredibly intelligent. She's read almost every book there is out there on New Age health. She feels better. Ultimately, she feels lighter. She's lost weight. Her skin is always glowing, and her yoga practice has improved. And she always knows when she falls into a snag, she has the materials from my program and what we've learned to go back, address the issues, and go forward. Because my goal for all my clients, Linda, everybody included, is not to ever need a nutritionist, but to understand how your body works so that you can be your best advocate and to help yourself. And now Linda is in a position to do that for the rest of her life. So this is my second shift. The important thing to do in order to heal your body is to stop poisoning yourself with foods and medications you were taught to believe were healthy. This is so key. Everybody thinks they know what healthy is, but they don't because we look at foods in terms of what vitamins and minerals they have, not in how they react into the body. Because the truth is, a food is only as beneficial to your body as it can be digested and eliminated. You have to be eating foods that are easily broken down by the body, their nutrients assimilated, and then their excrement eliminated. Any food that is difficult to digest is going to have a negative impact on your health, even if it's jam-packed with all the best vitamins and minerals. We've been taught that certain foods are healthy by societal beliefs and the media that has led us down the road of disease. Not all food is healthy or unhealthy for each individual. Foods can cause different reactions in different people. We have to determine what makes us healthy as an individual. Eating more superfoods will not necessarily make us healthier. For example, I'd like to say soy. Americans think soy is the best food in the world because it's eaten by Asians and they have the highest number of centenarians on the entire planet. But the truth is, soy can lead to chronic inflammation and mucus and overproduction of estrogen because it's the most mucus-forming food on the planet, even more than meat. Meat is another one. We've been led to believe that meat is the holy grail to health. And the reason is because it makes us feel better. Meat stimulates testosterone production, making us feel better. But at the same time, it rots in the intestine, clogs us up, causes putrefaction, which makes us acidic, which leads to aggravated bowel disease because an acidic environment becomes a tropical playground for all sorts of bad bacteria and things to start taking place. Parasites, bacteria, and the more waste we have in our body, the more we feed these bad bacteria and parasites, and that creates necrotic tissue in our system. Now, don't get scared. You don't have to be vegan. The problem is we just eat way too much meat and too often and of a low quality. So if we just eat it in context with foods that help move it through the system so that it doesn't have the opportunity to putrefy in the system, then it'll do more good for us than bad. Dairy, nuts that are unsoaked, healthy nut bars, and health juices such as the naked juices that are pasteurized are all severely damaging to our health. Dairy is incredibly mucus forming. It also has casein in it, which is a slow digested protein, which causes our bodies to leach magnesium, calcium out of our bones just to process it. It also completely shuts down our intestinal system. Nuts are incredibly clogging. Most American women all over the world really love to eat nuts, especially healthy nut bars, because they think that it's a healthy source of fat and protein and it's satisfying because it's crunchy. But the truth is, we are not meant to eat that many nuts. There is one nut inside of a fruit, which means in nature you would have to eat that entire fruit to get to that one nut. But here in modern day society, we eat nuts by the handful, but we're not eating the fruits associated with it. So these nuts, since they have no fiber or water in them, they're essentially just sitting in our intestines, clogging us up and making us sick. Whereas if they were sprouted or soaked, we would be waking up the digestive enzymes in them to help us digest them better, because nuts are coated with digestive inhibitors so that they grow. The whole idea is that the fruit falls off the tree, an animal comes along, eats the fruit, swallows the nut, doesn't digest it, poops it out, and then it rains on it, and then it grows. So the truth is, the live enzymatic qualities in the nut that help break it down are not activated until the nut is soaked. So really, we're just, instead of planting trees, we're just clogging ourselves up with nuts and getting ourselves constipated. The health juices, if they're pasteurized, they're no good, because through the pasteurization process, all of the enzymes and minerals, live enzymes and minerals and vitamins are neutralized through the pasteurization process. So the only thing that actually gets absorbed into our body is the sugar. So it's making us heavy, it's making us lethargic, it's spiking our blood sugar level, and essentially feeding all of those bad bacteria, candida, and parasites we talked about, making us sicker. All of these things lead to food sitting in our intestines and rotting, which create food for bad bacteria and parasites, which grow and multiply in the gut more with each constipating meal. And the truth is, again, if you're eating more often than you're pooping, that means that you've got a conga line of waste in there, like a barium enema, just completely stuffing you down, which is aging and rotting the intestinal wall of your body, leading to bad blood. This rotting material causes noxious gas. This gas that then gets embedded into our tissues decreases cellular function, putting the body under tremendous stress. Gas is not only in our gut, it is in our blood and our cells, which creates disordered body type. Think about Alec Baldwin. He used to be so cute, and after all of his years of drinking, he just looks like a little balloon. All of that bloated face is gas. Once we get rid of the gas in our bodies, they lean out, our skin texture changes for the better. My program was designed to help eliminate years of trapped gas and putrefactive waste, which are the two things that mostly cause bowel disease, autoimmune disease, and age us more rapidly than our years. Shift 3. This is the most exciting shift to me. By healing your bowels, you will be able to then heal hundreds of other diseases that you thought had nothing to do with your intestinal issues. And again, this goes right back to Bernard Jensen. And here's that slide again, just to remind you. In the last 70 years, he spent helping people to overcome illness, disability, and disease. It became crystal clear that poor bowel management lay at the root of most people's health problems. Our detox organs are constantly working to heal. Damage to our body, they regenerate new tissue, they turn over dead cells, and cleanse the blood. By empowering these abilities that we all have, healing can begin to take place. You don't even have to think about it. It's just automatic. Here's another case study. Ken is a pastor and a psychologist. He's a brilliant man. He came to me about 20 pounds overweight. His liver was starting to show signs of wear and tear. He was on the brink of having heart disease, and his cholesterol was through the roof. He was made aware of this by his doctor and became afraid because his doctor wanted to then put him on Lipitor and advised him to take baby aspirin so that he wouldn't have a heart attack. Being the enlightened, proactive man that he is, he decided he wanted to take the bull by the horns. He found my practice and decided to change his life. Within only 3 months of working together, Ken lost 20 pounds. He took about 20 years off of his face, and his cholesterol and levels went down, his liver enzymes went back to normal, and his blood work came back better than a 20-year-old. And he's become like the biggest advocate for my practice because through his own practice, he shows people how he's changed, and it now encourages them not only to feel better emotionally, but to change their health. He is very excited about this because it has allowed him to become even more positive about his health and has helped him achieve higher and higher levels of spirituality in his work as a pastor. Shift 4. What you don't eat is just as, if not more important than what you do eat, which we touched on a little bit before. Regaining health is not only about what you can put into your body to make it better, but what you can take out of it to help it function optimally. The key to healing the body is to fix the digestive system. By utilizing rest, we are able to speed up our metabolism instantly, allowing us to put our bodies into healing mode. When we do this by implementing intelligent fasting techniques that ignite moderate and gentle healing, we allow healing to take place. And I am not saying you have to fast, but the way I design my programs for clients is to allow them to get the maximum amount of enjoyment, nutrition, and satisfaction out of their food with the minimal effort on the digestive system, so the digestive system can spend more time cleaning out its house than it needs to be digesting. Because for layman's terms, we only have 2 modes. We can be digesting foods, assimilating nutrition, or we can be eliminating foods and cleaning us out. The more we eliminate and clean, the healthier we are. But if we're constantly having to digest food because we're putting food in 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, creating clog ups, we're never able to utilize our body's natural healing process. So the body can never just kind of dig itself out from the hole. It's kind of like somebody who has a pile of work on their desk and then the boss comes over and drops another pile. They're constantly working to get through their work, but they never do a really good job because they're stressed. That's what we're doing to our bodies. And by just taking some of that weight off the body, it can then just say, oh, now I finally have the ability to go to work healing myself. And that's when true health can take place. And so I just want to go over this little quote about fasting. The practice of fasting tactically acknowledges the fact that ours is a self-healing organism. Healing occurs naturally if it is allowed. Improper or excessive food simply thwarts natural ongoing healing process. And this is a quote by Anne-Marie Colbin, the founder of the Natural Gourmet Institute, where I went to school for culinary nutrition. She was a pioneer in the health world since the 1970s in New York City and helped heal hundreds, if not thousands of people through food, through her nutritional practice, her books, and her cooking school. It was really a beautiful thing that she started out of her apartment in New York when she was young with her children, because she wanted to show that you can utilize the power of fasting, the power of food to heal the body, but also to enjoy food. So a lot of what she does is centered around my practice and has inspired me to show people that you can love food, that you can enjoy it, but you can still use it as a self-healing modality. Here's another testimonial from my practice. This is Leslie. Leslie is a beautiful, intelligent woman. She works as a marketing director. She develops websites and branding. And when I met her, she had anxiety. She was a little heavier than she wanted to be, and she suffered from skin issues. Despite being a vegan person, she was educated at the National Institute for Health, IIN, and she just was still kind of muddled. So she decided to do my program after years of even being a client of colonics. And she completely, finally understood health. To this day, she is my biggest cheerleader. And her results really included better digestion, decreased bloating, less problems with her skin issues. She now has clear skin, which you can see by this picture. And she really enjoyed recipes. I mean, she's a true artist. She loves to cook. So it was really fun being able to provide her with healthy recipes that healed her body so that she could still enjoy food and not have anxiety around food anymore. And it's really nice to see her lighter, enjoying better digestion, and not having to suffer with that adult acne that bothered her. And here's just a testimonial from a client as well. Paulette Graff, she's a social worker and a meditation teacher at the Shambhala Center, and she's even been featured on the covers of the New York Times as a pioneer in the mindfulness movement. And what she says really cuts right to the chase. The long and the short of it is that Marin's treatments most likely either saved my life or prevented me from some kind of surgery. And that makes sense because when I met Paulette, she was in her 70s. She had been constipated for years, and it was causing issues with her gallbladder, issues with her thyroid, and she was just uncomfortable. But ever since changing her diet to a diet of easily combined foods, fresh juices, and just giving her body the ample amount of time to process the waste material that had built up over her 70 years of life, she regained her health. And now, to this day, she's living in New York City, walking about. She works, she teaches classes. She's almost 80 years old, and she is still enjoying life to the fullest, more than most other people I know. And she's all convinced that it is from addressing her digestive issues. Here's another case study. This is Diane Anderson. I've known Diane for years. She's an unbelievable woman, an artist and a personal shopper. And when I met her, she had been dealing with a crazy divorce and trying to take care of her daughter and working as a single mother to support her beautiful daughter. And life was hard. She was heavy. She had poor digestive health. She was not happy with her weight, her energy, and she really wanted to take control of her life so that she could take care of her child, change her career, become more financially successful so that she could afford the life she wanted and finally live independently out of the toxic relationship that she had been working for years to get herself out of, and successfully did. So over the course of our program, we revitalized what she did every day, and the truth is, because she worked 2 jobs and was taking care of her daughter, she didn't have time to cook. So most of what we did for her was just go over what she could get at restaurants, food she can make on the go, simple meals she could even create for her daughter. And over the 6 weeks, not only did she lose weight, her skin cleared up, but she became much more positive about her life and was able to address her career concerns and change her whole body. And again, if you just read her testimonial here, it'll tell you all about how her life changed. And again, from the picture, she's the one in the dress. You could just see that she is just radiating health and glowing. And I mean, this is a woman who's approaching 50 years old. You would never know it. And here's another testimonial from a wonderful client. And this client became my doula. She helped me deliver my daughter just 4 months ago. And I just love her quote. She's such a wonderful writer. Healing as a process that requires a lot of patience, compassion, and receptivity. It could take us years and years that we may only scratch the surface. And I think she's really talking about herself here. But it is a journey worth pursuing. She met me after years of cleansing and detoxing. But having me help her took her journey to the next level. She was able to lose that extra weight that she'd been carrying around. She no longer had digestive distress. Her skin cleared up. And she's now enjoying a better body than she had when she was a teenager. She's unbelievable, and I'll always have a special place in my heart for her for helping me deliver my daughter. So now that I've gone over some of these shifts and we've looked at a few of the people from my practice, I'd like to talk about your shift. I hope that this talk has been informative for you, and since going through these shifts, you may be wondering how you yourself can shift. The truth is that you've gotten yourself into the position of your current health, but you could also get yourself out of it. You have all the power in the world. So the final shift is really just to find a mentor you trust. The truth is, when you're in pain, you're not always the best person to make decisions for yourself because, let's be real, most people are self-sabotaging. Most people don't have health education. They feel paralyzed by too much information, and they need accountability and a clear plan of action that works. The old way you might have done things. You might have already tried to heal yourself the old way. You go to the doctor, they can't figure out what's wrong with you, or they diagnose you and offer you medication. You take the medication, you feel better for a while, and then it's like taking an Advil. It only works for like a day. The pain comes back, you go back to the doctor, and the cycle goes round and round. You feel worse on the medication than you did when you weren't on it from the side effects. You go back to the doctor, and they give you more drugs, and they even suggest surgery. You try alternative therapies that cost tons of money, and you'll know better results than the doctors could offer you in the first place, leaving you back to square one. We've all been there. I went to 10 doctors when I was sick. So what can you do about it? My clients that I discussed with you didn't get better on their own. They had a mentor to help them, just like I did. Through my healing journey, I had mentors. Mentors are important for our success. We usually don't learn to do things on our own. To become an expert within our career, you start below someone who guides you. We've all had teachers in school, with work, to develop hobbies, etc. That is exactly why I can help you with your health, which is why if you are in pain, you may want to consider investing in mentoring. Ultimately, hiring a mentor will cost you less than the time, pain, and expensive cost of medical care due to illness and years off of your life. This is why having a mentor can help you keep you on track and getting you better and improving your health. Not everyone needs a mentor, but here is a reason why you may need individualized help, and you'll know if this is you. If you have a complex set of symptoms that have left you feeling paralyzed and unable to help yourself, and you feel that you need help, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Mentors have been through what you have and have discovered how to come out on top. They know the shortcuts and pitfalls to avoid. They provide accountability and progress. They help you avoid making mistakes, avoid having to figure out what works and what does not, and so much more. Even if you have an excellent plan and you attempt to implement it on your own, you will, without a doubt, encounter obstacles along the way. A mentor can easily help you navigate whatever arises. But follow these rules. Find someone that has the results you want. Make sure her clients have the same results. And make sure she has a process to help you accomplish the same results for yourself. Recap. I want to go over what we talked about. Constipation is the source of most illness. We are slowly poisoning ourselves and must stop it in order to heal. We are perfect machines designed to self-heal and regenerate. We can empower our bodies to do this through diet. For true healing to take place, we have to take out the garbage. By healing your bowels, you will be able to heal hundreds of other illnesses that you thought had nothing to do with intestinal issues. For example, Dr. Kellogg has reported healing hundreds of thousands of people with serious illness by addressing the digestive system. Let's put it all together. So, to get better, we need to become our own advocate. Question your healthcare providers. Question your health practices. Research and become educated. Find good resources and help. Start eating a healing diet and use a mentor to help. So now you have a choice. And here's how I can help. I have set aside some time over the next 48 hours to personally speak with you about how you can apply these ideas to your health starting today. And it's absolutely free. But in order to apply for this, you must have a strong desire and need to fix your problem today, not tomorrow. You must be tired and frustrated at your current path of trying to get healthy and be willing to commit to doing whatever it takes to reach excellent health. You must be willing to take the complete control and responsibility of your own health. You must be serious about getting results and willing to follow directions to make it happen. And you have to be willing to invest in your health with time and money and no victims. You have to take responsibility for yourself. This is how it works. We are going to get on a call for about 45 minutes. It's not a consultation, it's a strategy call. We are here to talk about you and how to get your health on track. You're going to leave our section with clarity on what to do to get healthy and feel better. And again, this is completely free. We may invite you to be one of our new clients that we take on this month. And again, there's no high pressure pitch or sales. Simply see if the fit works. If not, it was really nice to meet you, but it's really just to see if this is the right fit. We only take on a handful of clients per month due to the extensive amount of time spent with each individual and the fact that I still have my brick and mortar practice and a 4-month-old. So if you're interested, please go to eatingworks.com/apply.html because spaces are limited and I am looking forward to talking to you.